Okay, awesome. Well, you know what? Just piggybacking off of your training with Gilbert, Guy, and the training that Melinda and I went through with Lisa Nichols, we just compiled our notes and just, put these into a quick slide presentation just to give you some information, just how with what you were training with Gilbert on, yes, Gilbert on, and what Lisa Nichols did, and just having and telling our story. So real quick here, the first thing is to know that your story isn't about you. It's for somebody else who needs to hear it. Okay. So one of the things is we speak to inspire other people. We're not speaking to impress other people.
Yeah.
And she says to be very non-negotiable, meaning don't protect your ego. When we're telling our stories, we want somebody else to feel and understand that we've been in that particular place. And if they have that going on, there's a way, that they can actually get through it, and to be vulnerable in that. And then to know that our stories, we're always becoming. So stop playing it safe, because we're always becoming, we're here at this space today. And as Janine said, tomorrow, today can change completely just with that right person or that right team and what have you. So our stories are always evolving. And then always focus on the insurance that you will always back up trying. And then to create your secret sauce, or mastering your story becomes your superpower. So your story is just a moment in time. It's a journey. It's a feeling. It's what you're thinking about. And building those relationships is what is going to be our superpower. So we have to impact people within 3 minutes of our conversation.
Yes.
You can even drill that down to, if you have that elevator speech, right? You can drill it down to that. And so that's what Guy has been talking about, how he's been working with Gilbert and Gabriel and, some of us others about our story. So how we can actually capture that within 3 minutes. Now, some facts here: 82% of the consumers feel that they feel better with hearing a story campaign versus, facts. Like Brad says, facts tells, story sell. So people retain 22 more times stories than they do facts. And 60% of consumers actually connect through stories, right? We believe that. And then out of that, 64% of the people will actually make a purchase from our stories. So here's a few speaking formulas that we got from Lisa Nichols. And then Melinda's actually going to just give you an example of this. So the first one she talks about is the foundation of the valley. And that's sharing the big you. That's your big mountain that you've had to overcome. And that's that first 30 seconds that you hit. And you're talking about a difficult or dark time that's in your life, and you're sharing your why. Then there's another way that she talks about the me, we, you, because now you're going to be seen, being heard, and be understood. And so she says, there was a time when I was, and you fill in the blank. We have a tendency to, and go on. And then it's, have you ever? And then you go on.
That's excellent.
I like that.
And then the other thing that she talks about is the cadence. That's the interaction that you have with your audience. And that's when you're adding texture into your voice, right? So we're not monotone, just talking like this and just blah, 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 right? It's adding that texture, and it's the flow of how you go, and it's the rhythm of your words. So if you allow me to just give you this example, I'm using the short rhyme of row, row, row your boat. We all know that. When we all did it with Lisa, we couldn't remember some of the other nursery rhymes. It had been a little bit long. I don't have any grandkids, so we couldn't remember that. But if you think about this in cadence in your voice, it's row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So it's how you take and kind of talk to your people so that they understand it. They're on that roller coaster, they're on that ride, and then they listen into you to hear what you have to say. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Melinda.
Awesome. Thank you,
That was
Donya.
really cool. Yep.
You're welcome.
Donya, you work the slides.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Okay, when you talk about the first part, it's list your accomplishments, what you've done so far. And then you can lead into your story with phrases like, but it wasn't always like this, or what you might not know about me is, and then you drop down into the valley. And that's a moment unpacked. That's you at your lowest point when everything was really bad. And then all of a sudden things click And it's what you did to dig yourself out of that and get back up, how you were inspired. Why do you keep going? And because of that lesson, I'm so committed to fill in the blanks. Okay, next slide. And then the me, we, you, it's an audience connection formula. Me puts you in the equation. It tells them a little bit about yourself. Then when you bring in the we, it allows you to have a camaraderie, a tribe experience, and it creates community because you bring in something that we can relate to. You draw them into your story. But then when you say at the end, you turns it back to them so that they feel connected and included in what happened, something that maybe they can identify with. So for like me, if I wanted to do where I am to the valley and back up with the demonstrations. Next slide. Next slide, Donya. There we go. You can start with, there was a time in my life. So if I was to do this thing with the we tend to believe that, or we're often told that, and then the you, has there ever been a time in life? There's different things you can do. You want to keep it relatable and you want to avoid absolutes. For myself, I could say, if I'm trying to do like the 2 to 3 minute thing, what you might not know about me is that I am a master falconer. I was one of 2 female falconers on the same day. We were the first in the history of North Dakota. Birds are my passion. With them, it is as natural and as normal as the air that I breathe. But there was a time when all that almost got taken away from me because of a major health upset that made it look like I was going to have to give up falconry. They said, because when you have a major upset like what I did, I almost died, your health rolls downhill and it picks up speed as you go. So one thing falls, the next thing does. And you become more accident prone, injury prone. They said, you're going to have to give it up. And that's the core of me. But I'm a positive person. Yeah. And we tend to listen to the naysayers, and we tend to listen to the people that are negative, and that goes against what I feel. So when the pandemic happened, I apparently, because of bad health, participated in it wholeheartedly. And I had been doing physical therapy and everything, but with bad health, you've only got so much to fight back with. In the hospital, Donya called, an old friend, and we were talking about Sealy, and that fit in with what I am, what I feel, what I want. And that gave me something to fight back with. So now, instead of giving up falconry, I'm flying 2 extra birds now, instead of just the one that I had. So you don't have to settle for what they say you can have. You don't have to settle for less. You can have what you want if you're willing to work for it and put the effort into what you want to accomplish. Ta-da!
Pretty awesome.
That was
wow. I love it.
And can everybody see how that's a relatable story, even though you're not a master falconry like Melinda is, but you can relate that into your own life. And that's the secret behind a powerful story. Excellent, Melinda.